All right, y'all. So I wanted to come on here and talk about my 10-year reading curriculum. You know what I'm saying? If you read the title, then yeah, man, it's exactly what it says it is. I've kind of been taking some time to build this alongside the help of ChatGPT AI. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like the title says, bro, my 10-year reading curriculum, the ultimate tool of self-education. Now, before we go ahead and get into the actual curriculum or routine, whatever that I'll be going through personally, I just want to say if you plan to do something similar to this, I absolutely suggest it. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me make sure my mic is. Yeah, pretty sure my mic is. Yeah, we good, we good, we good. But yeah, if you plan to do something like this, and I definitely suggest it. I feel like so many of us can benefit from continuing to explore our self-education. You know what I mean? So many of us view education as something that should have just stopped when we left school. You know what I mean? But one thing I like to say about myself, one phrase that I commonly say is, I'm a forever learner. You know what I mean? I will constantly be trying to learn new things as I go through this life experience because I'm the type of person who believes you can never stop learning. You can never have enough knowledge. You can never have enough wisdom, man. And you know what I mean? The first step to becoming wiser as a person overall is understanding that you don't know it all. You don't have all the answers, and you probably won't have all of the answers for the entirety of your lifetime. You know what I mean? So yeah, one of the beautiful parts about life as a person, as a human, is being able to grow every single day, learn something new, and understand that you don't have it all figured out. You know what I mean? You can continuously learn and grow and get better every single day. So I think that's the beautiful part about being a human. The creative challenge is to, you know what I'm saying, fight and figure out how to continuously grow in knowledge every single day. So one of my favorite ways of doing that is reading books. You know what I mean? And I'm a big self-help type of guy. I love that genre of books, self-help books, finance, you know what I mean? But those won't be the only books that are, taking up the majority of this list. Those will just be a large part of the list. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, I honestly feel like as a person, if you're trying to grow, if you're trying to become the best version of yourself, then a great place to start is a lot of these very insightful authors, that write these self-help books. I know a lot of people think that self-help books can become repetitive. I'm of the belief that if you sprinkle it in with classics, you know what I mean? Like just, yeah, classic literature. If you sprinkle the self-help books in with science, if you sprinkle the self-help books in with finance, then you get a lot more out of them. You know what I mean? I honestly feel like life is about perspective, and the more that you read and go along your journey, you experience different things in life, and that'll bring out certain lessons from each book that you've read. So yeah, with that being said, man, I do feel like everyone's self curriculum should be different. So don't copy mine word for word. If you want to use this as like a bare bones example of how you want to start creating yours, then I definitely suggest that. So another thing, one last thing, I'm sorry, before we hop into it. It says 10-year curriculum. I believe mine went a bit over 10 years. Because I just had an entire book list that I wanted to get through in general, and ChatGPT helped me, and that it spanned over about 10 years. So it might be a bit longer than 10 years, but 10 years is good for the title. You know what I mean? And for clicking purposes. So yeah, with that being said, man, let's go ahead and hop straight into the list, man. So I want to start first and foremost with the books that I've already read before we get into my curriculum that I'll be reading from this day moving forward. So for the books that I've already read plenty of books. Like I read plenty of entertainment books. I used to read, Harry Potter books. I like to read The Hunger Games. I like to read Magic Treehouse books when I was younger. But a lot of that was when I was younger. You know what I mean? Nowadays, I'm kind of strictly self-help, science, finance, and yeah, I'm trying to get more into classic literature too. So just keep that in mind when I'm reading the books that I've already gone through. But yeah, so far, I've already read Think and Grow Rich. I've already read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I've already read Grit by Angela Duckworth. Great book, by the way. I've already read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've already read The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. I've already read Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. I've already read Kiss That Frog by Brian Tracy. I've already read Atomic Habits, one of my favorite books of all time. I've already read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I've already read The Four Agreements. I've already read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And I've already read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. So yeah, a little preface again before we hop in. I have something that I like to call my Mount Rushmore of books. And those are just the books that personally changed my life so far out of all of those that I just named that I've read to this point. And it's about 6 or so, I believe, maybe more, maybe less, that I honestly want to be able to reread multiple times throughout my life because I feel like it will form who I am as a person and formulate my personality and hammer in who I want to be as a person anyway. So there will be a couple of books from my Mount Rushmore list that I do want to reread each year. So yeah, out of that Mount Rushmore, I have How to Win Friends and Influence People. Love that book. Definitely going to reread that a couple of times on this journey. I have Atomic Habits, 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10 book. Definitely going to reread that a couple of times. I have The Way of the Superior Man. I have Meditations, I have Man's Search for Meaning, and I have Outliers. So those are my Mount Rushmore, my personal favorite books, and I will be rereading those a couple of times as well. So that was a mouthful, pause, but let's hop straight into it, man. So for year one, or 2026, this year, you know what I mean? I'm going to start with the books I already started reading by the time I made this. I'm currently reading the 48 Laws of Power. I'm almost finished with that. I know there's a lot of opinions on the 48 Laws of Power and how it could be evil or, you know what I'm saying, used for negative purposes. It's not how I look at it. I just look at it as perspective and how power dynamics are used throughout the world and throughout your interactions with people daily. So I kind of use it as like an insight type of book, not as like a world domination, I'm trying to gain power type of book. But yeah, nearly finished reading the 48 Laws of Power. So that is the first one on the list. Then I have $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy next. That'll be the next book I'm reading. Every single book will be in order of exactly how I will be reading them. So boom, currently reading the 48 Laws of Power. This is year one. Next, I'll read $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy. Next, after that, I will read The 4-Hour Work Week. After that, I will read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. This is also a part of my Mount Rushmore. I forgot to mention that earlier. But yeah, I'll be rereading that because I've heard so many good things about this book and the discipline that it brings to you. I haven't read it for the first time yet, so that's why it wasn't in my initial list. But Can't Hurt Me is next. Then we have Deep Work by Cal Newport. We have Essentialism by Greg McKeown. We have our first Atomic Habits reread. We have The One Thing. We have Good Strategy, Bad Strategy. Then we have Thinking in Bets. Then we have The Scout Mindset. After that, we have Mistakes Were Made by Carol Tavris. After that, we have How to Win Friends and Influence People reread. After that, we have Never Finished by David Goggins. Then we have Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Then we have Never Split the Difference, The Psychology of Money. We have after that Your First 365 Days in Real Estate. Little preface, that is because I am halfway through my licensing process of getting my real estate license as a North Carolina broker. So I wanted to sprinkle in some real estate information in there. But yeah, after that book, we have Basic Economics, Behave, Meditations reread, Shoe Dog by which is about Phil Knight. On the Shortness of Life by Seneca. We have Mere Christianity, obviously, because I have to have some spirituality in there. Some religion books, and I'm a Christian, so I definitely want to get closer with my faith. Then we have Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. We have The Untethered Soul. We have Crime and Punishment, which is our first classic that we will be reading. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope that's going to be a good book. I've heard good things about it, and I'm excited to read it. And then lastly, we'll finish off 2026 with Man's Search for Meaning, right? So that'll be year one, right? Now, if I'm flying through these a little fast, you guys, it's because we have 10 plus years of reading to get through. I just want to give you guys my entire curriculum. You can always feel free to pause at any time, rewind, slow down the video if you wanted to hear the exact order again, but I won't be stopping very often. So that is year one. Okay, year two, which is 2027, we have starting off with The Tipping Point. Then we have The Laws of Human Nature. We have The Gene by Siddhartha Mukherjee. Not sure. I pray I pronounced that right. My apologies if I didn't. After that, we have Titan by Ron Chernow. I'm pretty sure that's a classic too, right? Classic literature. I'm excited to read that. Then we have Can't Hurt Me reread. Okay. Then we have Atomic Habits reread. We have The Millionaire Next Door. We have Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. We have Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. We have Quiet by Susan Cain. We have The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. We have How to Win Friends and Influence People, another reread. We have Never Finished by David Goggins, another reread. We have Poor Charlie's Almanac by Charlie Munger. We have Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Taleb. The Black Swan, Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. The Art of War. We have Meditations, a reread. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The Goal by Eliyahu Goldratt. Then we have The Odyssey. Extremely excited to read that. I love, you know what I'm saying, just Homer in general and that entire trilogy or saga or story, you know what I mean? Troy, one of my favorite movies, excited to read about that. And The Odyssey, I just recently seen it, also an amazing movie. I feel like I'm the only one who didn't read The Odyssey in school. So, yeah, I'm excited to read it on my own personal time. But then we have The Case for Christ, another, book about Christianity. And then we have Kings and Priests, another book about Christianity. That will close out year 2 or 2027. Hopping straight into 2028 or year 3, we'll begin the year with Thinking Fast and Slow. Then we have The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. We have Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. By the way, there will be a lot of biographies and things like that about other successful people's stories in this list as well. So yeah, we have Can't Hurt Me reread, Atomic Habits reread. As you guys can tell, I love Atomic Habits. I love a lot of these Mount Rushmore books. I'm going to be reading them each year. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. But yeah, then we have One Up on Wall Street. We have The Chimp Paradox. We have The Lessons of History by Will and Ariel Durant. We have How to Win Friends and Influence People reread again. We have Never Finished reread again. We have Genome by Matt Ridley. We have The E-Myth revisited. We have A Random Walk Down Wall Street. We have The Alchemist. We have Leonardo da Vinci. We have Meditations reread again. We have The Power of Habit, The Art of Thinking Clearly, Super Forecasting, A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, The Sovereign Individual by James Dale Davidson, Principles by Ray Dalio, The Happiness Hypothesis, The House of Morgan by Rob Chernow, Frankenstein, another classic. I did read that in school, but I don't remember it much. So yeah, looking forward to reading Frankenstein again. Macbeth, another classic by Shakespeare. We have Man's Search for Meaning, another reread. So boom. What is this, year 4? 2029, either way. In 2029, we'll begin the year with $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozy. Then we'll follow that with Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, Sam Walton Made in America, Atomic Habits reread, Can't Hurt Me reread, The Most Important Thing by Howard Marks, The Molecule of More, The Prince by Machiavelli, How to Win Friends and Influence People reread, Never Finished reread again, $100 Million Money Models, Why We Sleep, That Will Never Work by Mark Randolph. which is the Netflix story, by the way. Meditations reread again. Little Book of Common Sense Investing. The Way of the Superior Man reread. First reread for that one. The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane. The Apology by Plato. The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McEwen. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. Will by Will Smith. The 33 Strategies of War. The First 90 Days by Michael Watkins. Attached by Amir Levine. The Color of Law, Flow, and Hamlet by Shakespeare. Okay, so as you guys can see, the level of classics, the amount of classics, I should say, is kind of increasing. So, yeah, I'm hoping because that was, 2029? So, yeah, I'm hoping by 2030, I'll definitely be a lot more well-versed in classic literature, and I'll be a lot smarter than I am right now, you guys. So that's the entire plan with this. But yeah, 2030 is next. 1 second. All right. Sorry. We have starting the year off with The Personal MBA. Then we have Breathe by James Nestor. We have Kobe Bryant, The Mamba Mentality. We have Atomic Habits and then Can't Hurt Me, both rereads. We have Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. We have The Body Keeps the Score, which is funny. I said that after drinking that lemonade just now. But hey, then we have The Iliad by Homer. We have How to Win Friends and Influence People reread, never finished reread. We have The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. A Manual for Living by Epictetus. Hope I said that right. Michael Jordan, The Life. The Simple Path to Wealth. The 5 Love Languages. The Demon Haunted World by Carl Sagan. Meditations reread. We have The Way of Kings. .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. The Power of Now. Spoon-Fed by Tim Spector. The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. I was kind of considering moving that up a bit higher. You know, I feel like getting out of debt which is what that book is mainly about. If you're not familiar, I feel like that's a skill you need to develop and learn early. But yeah, I digress, man. I might move that up into one of the earlier years and replace one of the books above it. But yeah, then we have Coach K, The Rise and Reign of Mike Krzyzewski. And then we have Moby Dick, another classic to end the year out. 2031, we'll start the year with 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. We have The Biology of Belief. We have Alexander the Great by Philip Freeman. Atomic Habits and Can't Hurt Me reread. High Output Management by Andrew Grove. The Willpower Instinct. The Stranger by Albert Camus. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Never finished. Both rereads. Measure What Matters by John Doerr. The Winner Effect. Outliers. First reread of that. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Adversity for Sale by Jeezy. He's the rapper, you know what I'm saying? Jeezy, if y'all not familiar, man, y'all should be if y'all watch my channel. But Jeezy, we all know who that is. The Happiness Trap. The Gift of Maji by O. Henry. The Immortality Key. Between Psychedelics and Spirituality. Devil Take the Hindmost. Man's Search for Meaning reread. The Lean Startup. Lateral Thinking. Cash Advertising. As a Man Thinketh. The Big Con. I'm excited to read that one. I did want to read that a bit earlier, but that's more of just like for entertainment. That book isn't really, practical. But it's The Big Con is about how a man basically stole $30 million and got away with it. His name is Tony Sales. But yeah, I won't be reading that for a few years, as you can see. So yeah, 2032, we have, hold on, let me go ahead and confirm exactly how many years. Okay, so we stop in 2039. You guys tell me how many years that is exactly. But I'm pretty sure it's like, 13 or 14? Maybe 14. But yeah, 2032, we start the year with Sapiens. Then we go to 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. We have The Everything Store, which is the Jeff Bezos story about Amazon. We have Atomic Habits, Can't Hurt Me, both rereads. We have Freakonomics by Stephen D. Levitt. We have The Luck Factor, Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. We have How to Win Friends and Influence People again, never finished again. We have Good to Great by Jim Collins, The Science of Getting Rich. We have The Autobiography of Gucci Mane. We have, if we have Jeezy in there, we got to have Gucci in there. We have Meditations reread. We have Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. We have Influencer, The Power of Change. or The Power to Change Anything, forgive me. We have The Little Book That Still Beats the Market. We have The Way of the Superior Man reread, The Rational Male, The Body, A Guide for Occupants, The Power of Positive Thinking, 36 Stratagems, The Defining Decade, The Wolf of Wall Street, How Not to Be Wrong by Jordan Ellenberg, and Outliers. Reread again. 2033, we begin the year with The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. We have The 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss. We have American Kingpin, Atomic Habits, Can't Hurt Me, both rereads. As you guys can see, those are yearly repeats. We have The Procrastination Equation, Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. We have Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, classic novel. I've heard a lot about it. Excuse me. How to Win Friends and Influence People reread, never finished reread. Okay, and then we have The 50th Law by Robert Greene and 50 Cent. We have What We Owe the Future. We have Unscripted. We have The Way of the Superior Man reread again. We have The Boy Crisis. We have Hatching Twitter by Nick Bilton. We have Meditations reread. We have Leviathan, another classic by Thomas Hobbes. We have Beyond Wealth. We have The Subtle Art of Not Giving a You get it. We have The 80-20 Principle. We have Reality Transurfing. We have Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. We have The Book of Five Rings. We have Misbehaving by Richard Thaler. We have Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday to end that year off. 2034, we're almost there, you guys. Yeah, man. Listen, it's a lot, man. I think I had over 300 books on this list. Planning to read about 20 to 24 per year. So yeah, it's a lot, you guys, but I want to become an avid reader. And if you guys have seen my other videos, just really quickly before I keep going, if you guys have seen my other videos in the past, I've talked multiple times about wanting to build my own home library, my own personal library that I can go and refer to at any moment of weakness, or, any moment where I feel like I need some advice from a certain book, whatever that may be. And I can pass that to my kids, and, they'll be able to read these books the same way that I did. So I will be building my own personal library. That is partly why there are also so many books on this list. But yeah, you guys, I want to get so much more into reading, but yeah, we got about 4 or 5 more years left to finish. So let's speed run these. 2034, we start the year with Read, Write, Own by Chris Dixon. We have Drive by Daniel Pink. We have Phil Jackson, 11 Rings, The Soul of Success. We have Atomic Habits and Can't Hurt Me reread. We have The Automatic Millionaire. We have Stolen Focus by Johann Hari. We have Cry, The Beloved Country. We have How to Win Friends and Influence People reread, never finished reread. We have Blitzscaling by Reid Hoffman. We have Breakthroughs by P.R. Nyack. We have Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. Outliers, Rework by Jason Fried. The Diary of a CEO, 33 Laws. We have Meditations reread. We have God versus Government by James Coates. We have The Creature of Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. We have Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. Curtis Jackson, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. We have, which is 50 Cent, by the way. We have The Pathless Path. We have A Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson. In Search of Excellence by Tom Peters. Crazy Love by Francis Chan. Night by Elie Wiesel, which is another classic. We have Confessions of St. Augustine, which is also another classic. Then we head into 2035 with Hard Times Create Strong Men, Genetic Studies of Genius. We have Kobe Bryant, The Rise and the Pursuit of Immorality. Atomic Habits and Can't Hurt Me reread again. We have Fire Your Retirement by Yvonne Guan. Hope I said that right. We have Unlimited Memory. The Boy with the Striped Pajamas. How to Win Friends and Influence People reread, never finished reread. The Great Rat Race Escape by M.J. DeMarco. The Secret Life of Secrets. Outsiders by William N. Thorndike. Outliers reread. The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. Gunning for God by John Lennox. Meditations. Nonviolent Communication by Marshall B. Rosenberg. How Rich People Think. The Millionaire Fastlane. The Appearance of Power by Tanner Guzzi. Black Male's Burden by Cornelius D. Jones. 6 Thinking Hats. The Score Takes Care of Itself by Bill Walsh. The Action Bible by Sergio Cariello. which is a bit more of a fun take on the Bible. It's like a comic book type of Bible. The Surrender Experiment. Let me stop this because this is getting long. Okay, so yeah, we have the Surrender Experiment, and then after that, we will end off the year with that. Then we start 2036, 2-3 more years left, you guys. Start 2036 with Mastery by Robert Greene, Hyper Focus, Relentless by Tim Grover, Atomic Habits and Can't Hurt Me, both rereads, Effortless by Greg McKeown, Confessions of an Advertising Man, When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi, How to Win Friends and Influence People Again, Never Finished Again, Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, Traffic Secrets by Russell Brunson, Leadership Gold by John C. Maxwell, Alchemy by Rory Sutherland, Meditations reread, Getting Past No by William Ury, On War by Carl von Clausewitz, The Go-Giver, The Flinch by Julian Smith, Winning by Tim Grover, The Year of Magical Thinking, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie, Every Man's Bible, which is, just, that's not really a book much. It's like a small passage or whatever for each day, just for you to take with you if you are a Christian man. We have The Compound Effect, which is the last book for that year. Okay, so then we have 2037. We start the year with Complex PTSD by Pete Walker, The Male Advantage by Christopher Sturmey, Twice Toward Justice by Philip Hoos, Atomic Habits, Can't Hurt Me reread, Lost Connections by Johann Hari, His Needs, Her Needs, Wild. We have How to Win Friends and Influence People, Never Finished, both rereads. We have Models. We have Unfuck Your Brain by Faith G. Harper. We have 30 Days to Understanding the Bible by Max Anders. We have Outliers, reread again. We have Cry Like a Man. We have Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. We have Meditations. We have Not Nice by Aziz Gazipura. We have The Man's Guide to Women. We have Declutter Your Mind. We have Promises and Prayers for Men. We have The Way of Men by Jack Donovan, How to Navigate Life, Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson, Your Brain on Porn by Gary Wilson. We have Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. 2038, which is second to last year, I believe. Yeah, second to last year. We start that year, 2038, with Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone, Limitless, Be Water, My Friend by Bruce Lee, Atomic Habits, reread, Can't Hurt Me, reread, How to Invest $50 to $50,000. We have The Behavior Ops Manual, To Hate Like This is to Be Happy Forever, which is a take on the Duke versus UNC rivalry. As you guys know, I'm from North Carolina. I'm from Durham, North Carolina, where Duke is at. So, little fun fact about me, I'm probably the biggest Duke fan on the face of the planet. You know what I mean? So, yeah. That's just a little fun one that I wanted to throw in there. Obviously, I put it toward the end because it's not important. I don't need to read that in my early years. This is about growing myself as a person. But yeah, a little fun in there. So yeah, then we have How to Win Friends and Influence People, Never Finished, both rereads again. We have Scorecard Marketing. We have The Richest Man in Babylon. We have 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. We have Someday is Today. We have Own the Day, Own Your Life. Meditations reread, The YouTube Formula by Darrell Eves, which, it's kind of just an extra book because it was on the list. I seen the reviews on it. It wasn't too crazy. So, I just wanted to be able to say I read that one. That's really why it's so far back. Honestly, it could have gone without being on the list at all, but it was on the list and I wanted to finish the list as well. So we have The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. We have The 2-Week Lucid Dreamer by Derek Ralston. We have Screw It, Let's Do It, Lessons in Life. Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. We have The Secret, which ChatGPT does not like that book, by the way. ChatGPT really dislikes The Secret. But yeah, that's why they put it toward the end. I think it's second to last year of the curriculum. We have You're So Money. We have The Idiot's Guide to the Mafia, another kind of fun book. We have Power versus Force by David Hawkins. And then for the last year, we start the year off 2039 with How to Think Like a Roman Emperor by Marcus Aurelius, How to Do the Work. We have The Third Door by Alex Banayan. We have Atomic Habits, Can't Hurt Me, both rereads. We have The Power of Discipline by Daniel Walter. We have How to Talk to Anyone. We have Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. We have How to Win Friends and Influence People, never finished, both rereads. The Slight Edge, we have War by Robert Greene, Unlimited Power by Tony Robbins, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover, The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, Meditations reread. We have How to Fail at Almost Anything and Still Win Big by Scott Adams, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, Crush It by Gary Vee, Crushing It by Gary Vee, The 5-Second Rule, The 10X Rule, Mate, Be the Man Women Want by Geoffrey Miller, and The Unplugged Alpha by Richard Cooper. We have You Are a Badass by Jen Cicero. And finally, we have Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. Now, this has been a long video, you guys. If you actually sat through and listened to me read all of those books, I'm not expecting you guys to. You are the GOAT, honestly. It's a very long curriculum. That's what, 14 years worth of reading. So it's just about 300, maybe over 300 books. So yeah, you guys, I just want to remind you that this will be me reading over years and years and years, right? I'm 24 right now. Over the next 14 years, I will be, 38 years old by the time I finish reading all of these books, hopefully. It may take a bit longer than that. You know, some years I may not read the entire 24, 25, right? So it may take me until 40 years old, but I still believe, regardless, if I'm able to finish this entire curriculum around that time somewhat at all, I will be in an extremely, extremely crazy position, wisdom and knowledge-wise. And that was the entire point of this video, you guys. You never stop learning, man. You never, never, never just, believe you know it all, because there's always more to learn. So I encourage you all to build your own 10 to 15 year reading curriculum and self-learn yourself, do it on ChatGPT, have them help you do it alongside you. And yeah, comment down below, man. Let me know if you guys end up doing this as well. And hopefully you guys start your reading journeys too, man. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this video. I love y'all. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next one.